The estranged husband of Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert threw a tantrum when she served divorce papers at the family home, according to court documents. A process server said that a gun and beer holding Jason Boebert yelled profanities at him and let the dogs out when being served on April 25th. Now, Representative Boebert has taken to Twitter to defend her husband amidst the apparently acrimonious divorce, tweeting just a few minutes ago, quote, "I have always spoken highly of my marriage. I believe in marriage. I believe in the power our words hold. Jason, a man I spent half my life with, did not sign up to be in the public limelight. He certainly did not agree to be falsely accused of things he didn't do. The stories reported about the process server and even Jason running over a mailbox are a complete lie. Jason doesn't sit around cleaning guns, and he certainly doesn't drink beer out of a glass, just as much as he doesn't drink Bud Light. Our own home security footage shows he didn't sick dogs on the process server. The dogs were outside when the server pulled up. They never showed aggression toward him, nor did he appear afraid of them. Our divorce is a private matter, but the misrepresentations must be addressed. Jason deserves his privacy, not slanderous stories. Despite what others may say, I welcome your thoughts and fervent, heartfelt prayers for our family."
Whew. Okay, so the reason we know so much about what happened when Jason Boebert was served is because there was this document that the process server filed detailing what happened to him. He's the one that said that when he came to the house, Jason was cleaning a gun, that he was drinking a glass of beer, and that Jason ultimately...
Not a transgender beer. Let's be...
Not a beer that has one trans rep. Yes, not Bud Light. And then also that he sicked the dogs on him. Which, when I first stumbled across Boebert's post, it was unclear to me why there were these weird asides about my husband would never drink out of a glass. It becomes much clearer when you read the process server's report in the Daily Beast review. Now, I'm inclined to think this is all their private business and shouldn't be on the internet.
100%.
Some people are making the argument that because Lauren Boebert has weighed in so much on the need to protect the integrity of families and family values, specifically as she has supported legislation that others would characterize as interfering with the rights of families with trans kids to make the parenting decisions that they think are appropriate, and of trans adults to take on the course of medical therapies, et cetera, that they find most appropriate, and the decisions between them and their doctor, and Boebert's advocate for anti-choice policies, et cetera, make her the subject for some critique because there is a hypocrisy angle here. I don't know what to make of that, but she certainly has created a kind of a target on her back, I would say, whether or not you agree that people should take aim at it, by engaging so publicly, making so many public judgments about how other people run their families.
I mean, people should probably just lay off, right? I mean, maybe you shouldn't make judgments about other people's families. I don't know if she was participating in that. That was bad. Some of the policies you outlined, I don't know exactly where she fits in or what she's done on those issues. I probably disagree with many of them. I feel sorry for her and her family, and divorce is a messy, nasty thing that a whole lot of Americans go through. At one point, it was like half of all Americans, although I think it's actually substantially down from that now. The younger generation seems to be having it stick a little bit more easily, more readily.
Well, she is
making more informed decisions.
She kind of is the younger generation.
She is young.
She's only, 36, 37 years old.
She has
been married for a long time, for 20 years.
She's a grandmother too. She has a son who just had a baby.
That's right. We were reminded of how young she was when she started dating her husband, because an incident additionally that people are bringing up is that he exposed himself in a bowling alley when they were younger. She was 17, he was 24, and there is documentation of how that
because
transpired.
He was prosecuted.
Yes.
The police were called. It was at a bowling alley. She described this in great detail in a book she wrote, defending him at the time, that suggests from her point of view that it was kind of a drunken, boastful showing off of a tattoo to a bartender, was not intended in a sexual nature. Again, who knows what the truth of it is, but it does seems like he got rowdy.
Well, she admitted to, I mean, no one's denying that the event happened. I mean,
right.
there is a vivid description of him
and
saying, yo, I do have a tattoo on my penis, take a look.
So, well, that is the part, I think, because the police were only called because the bar owner asked, or the bowling alley owner asked him to leave, and he didn't leave. So then the police were called. Yeah. So he ended up getting prosecuted for that reason. If he just left, there would have been an issue. Especially in this context of, like, you know, what rights do people have to take action against you when you're just being unruly and not behaving the way you're supposed to be? And a lot of conservatives, you know, want to stand up for, you know, people who perceive they're doing the right thing on the subway, like dealing with an unruly person. Well, he was being an unruly person, and they dealt with him. Right.
They didn't kill him, so
no,
he's got that going for him. But yeah, he did expose himself, and so a number of people are making accusations, and basically, you know, highlighting the contrast between Lauren Boebert, who has participated in this smearing of left-leaning people as groomers, at the same time when your husband has picked up a charge for, you know, exposing himself indecently in front of minors. Again, there is something that's maybe rich about that kind of reeks of projection to some people. And there is a kind of vibe that is like, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones at the very least.
I know this to be the case. The sex offender registry is actually like filled with, it's a lot of underage people are on it for having sex with people their own age.
Well,
or
he was
for
24.
Urinating in public, or, well, not in that, but.
Yeah, he was 24, she was 17.
It's like the average age of the person on the sex offender registry is like 14, something like that. Because
yeah, that certainly is an issue.
Yeah, and there's a lot of urinating in public and all that kind of thing that's not.
What do you make of the choice to use the new Twitter feature that allows quite a few words, an infinite number of words, I think, to be used beyond the typical character limit, and for Boebert to respond in the way that she has done on Twitter? It was politically, strategically, what do you make of that choice?
Well, this was a case where I was interested to see what was below the fold, so I clicked through a couple times, but normally I don't do that, because it loads, for me at least, it loads an additional page, right, where because I don't have Twitter Blue, so I don't just naturally see it that way.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's very clumsy to have to get to it, so I'm generally just not doing it. I don't know that we need longer tweets.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to me, I don't know that.
Thread tweets.
That's true. You can thread tweets. I don't know if the goal is to stop people from talking about this and to protect your family. It seemed like the desire to correct the record on whether or not her husband drinks out of a glass versus a bottle or can of beer shouldn't, you know, supersede your desire to kind of diminish public commentary and keep things to yourself and keep things private.
Listen, she was trying to demonstrate that this account of what happened was fraudulent because, you said he was drinking beer out of a glass, but he would never do that because he doesn't support the transgender.
I mean, what do you make of that? I mean, she says that he wasn't cleaning a gun either. Well, she doesn't exactly say that. She said, my husband doesn't spend all day cleaning guns, which can be true at the same time that he happens to be cleaning a gun. We know they have guns. She's posted pictures of her family standing in front of the Christmas tree, all of them holding automatic guns.
Here's a question I have. Don't people who serve divorce papers, I only know this from like the movies when it happens, you know, like usually they do it, at least in the movies, they try to catch you off guard, or they don't just walk up to your house, you see them coming at a place where there's like, they do it as you're getting out of your car or something?
No, people get served at their homes all the time.
Okay, I don't know. Not in the movies.
There are people who try to avoid being served.
Well,
and that can happen. If that happens, you have to be more covert about it. But there's like, don't ask me to remember civil procedure, but there are a whole series of rules about what counts as a legitimate service.
I thought so I'm totally wrong. This is, again, just my impression from movies, so obviously it's false.
No.
I thought they deliberately try to serve you in a public place or something.
No, they want you to admit, they want you to say that you are who is supposed to be served, you know, so to confirm that the service is going to the right person. But ultimately in this story, he didn't accept service. The service provider...
like in Mad Men, when they serve Joan, it's like the guy has like flowers or something. I brought you flowers. Are you Joan? And she says, yes, I am. Like, you're served.
Because you want them to acknowledge that they are the person being served.
It seems like it's always devious.
Well, Well, ultimately, he didn't accept service, so he put it down at the house and left. And at that point, allegedly, Jason Boebert sicked the dogs on him at a retribution move. We'll find out, I'm sure, shortly if there are any Amazon Ring cameras in the vicinity that can shed light on this. Of course, in the Steven Crowder divorce situation, which is also very messy.
Good callback. Good callback, Bri.
He was kind of felled. His wife's story was corroborated by the fact that they seem to have some home video camera footage that got out. So I'm sure the story is going nowhere with or without Boebert's tweets. We'll have more Rising for you right after this.